Practical ways to use chatbots in the classroom. A ProfeAI lesson on reclaiming your time and personalizing learning for every student. I'm Sawyer, and today we're moving beyond the hype to the actual daily work of teaching. We've all been there. It's Sunday night, 10 p.m., you've got 32 students waiting for you tomorrow. You know that differentiation is the gold standard. We want to reach the student who's 2 years behind and the one who's ready for high school material. But between the lesson planning, the parent emails, and the actual grading, where does the time come from? Knowing differentiation matters doesn't magically give you more hours in your evening. This is the gap we're going to close today. Hey there, I'm Sawyer. I've spent 2 decades in the classroom and I've seen every silver bullet tech tool come and go. But what's happening right now with AI chatbots is different. It's already happening in your classrooms, whether we planned for it or not. A 2024 meta-analysis in the British Journal of Educational Technology actually found that these tools have a real, measurable positive effect on student learning when they're used to personalized support. Today, I'm not giving you a vague list. I'm giving you a method, the Spark method, to make this work for you, not against you. S is for scaffold. Think of this as your high-speed differentiation engine. Traditionally, if you wanted to adapt a complex science article for a student with an MLL, that's Multilingual Learner, background, you'd be looking at an hour of manual rewriting. With a chatbot, you can take that same core content and ask for 3 versions at 3 different lexile levels in about 90 seconds. You're still the one making the pedagogical decisions, but the chatbot is doing the heavy lifting of the redrafting. Let's look at a real-world example. Imagine a high school Spanish teacher. You've got a great article on climate change in Madrid, but it's way too dense for your beginners. You feed it into your AI assistant and ask for a version using only high-frequency present tense verbs for your level 1s and a version with complex subjunctive structures for your AP students. In 2 minutes, you have a cohesive lesson where every student is engaging with the same topic, but at a level where they can actually succeed. This is how we move from teaching to the middle to teaching every single desk in the room. P is for practice partner. This is where we build student agency. Research from Harvard's Berkman Klein Center found that when chatbots are prompted to guide students with Socratic-style questions instead of just handing over the answers, students actually perform better and think more critically. For our language learners, a chatbot becomes a zero-anxiety speaking partner. They can practice, fail, and try again without the social pressure of speaking in front of 30 peers. I remember a middle school student who was so brilliant but would freeze up the second I asked a question in class. For a student like that, a chatbot is a bridge. They can spend 10 minutes chatting with the AI about a history topic, getting immediate feedback on their phrasing, and building their confidence in private. By the time the whole class discussion starts, they've already had a warm-up round. You aren't replacing human connection. You're using the AI to lower the barrier of entry so more students can participate in that connection. A is for assess and give feedback. Let's be honest about where our time goes as ELA or social studies teachers. We spend hours circling comma splices and correcting basic capitalization. That's not teaching, that's copy editing. By letting a chatbot handle that first round of surface-level feedback on clarity and mechanics, you free up your most valuable resource, your brain, to give the deep conceptual feedback that actually helps a student develop their voice. Imagine you have a stack of 150 essays. If your students use an AI tool for a preliminary clarity check before they submit, the drafts you eventually read are already polished at the sentence level. This means when you sit down to grade, you can actually talk to the student about their thesis, their evidence, and their logic. You're shifting your energy from being a human spell checker to being a true mentor. The AI is the tutor that handles the mechanics so you can handle the meaning. It's a massive shift in how we prioritize our instructional time. R is for revise and redraft. This is where the habit of iteration is born. We want students to learn that writing isn't a one-and-done event. It's a process of constant refinement. When a student gets that AI feedback, the learning doesn't happen when they read it, it happens when they have to decide how to apply it. They are engaging in metacognition, evaluating the AI's suggestions, and making deliberate choices about their own work. Think about a student working on a lab report. The AI assistant might suggest that their conclusion section is a bit vague. The student then has to go back, look at their data, and figure out how to be more specific. That act of looking back and redrafting is the core of the learning process. You're teaching them how to be their own editor. The chatbot is just the scaffold that makes that high-level thinking accessible. It's about building a process that stays with them long after they've closed the laptop. K is for keep it ethical. This is the non-negotiable foundation of everything we've talked about. We cannot hide these tools from our students or their families. We have to model transparency. If a chatbot helped you draft a parent newsletter or a rubric, say so. Teach your students to verify everything the AI produces, treat it as a fallible assistant, not a source of truth. Trust is the foundation of the classroom, and it's built through honest conversation about how and why we use technology. When we are upfront about AI, we model the exact digital citizenship we want to see. We show our students that technology is a tool to be managed with integrity, not a shortcut to be exploited. I always tell my students, the AI is here to help you think, not to do the thinking for you. When we have those open talks, we move from a culture of policing to a culture of partnering. That's how we prepare them for a world where these tools are everywhere. It's about building a shared classroom journey based on integrity. So that's SPARK, scaffold, practice, partner, assess, revise, and keep it ethical. 5 practical, classroom-tested ways to weave AI into your daily teaching practice without losing your mind or your Sunday night. You don't need to do all 5 tomorrow morning. Just pick one. Try it with one class or one assignment that usually drains your energy. See what it frees up for you and your students. That's how this actually sticks, one small, practical shift at a time. In the next lesson, we're going to dive into the how. I'll show you exactly how to frame your prompts to get the high-quality scaffolds and feedback cycles we talked about today. We'll look at the specific language that turns a generic AI response into a precision teaching tool. I'll see you there. Small shifts lead to big changes in the classroom. Start with Spark, and I'll see you in the next lesson. I'm Sawyer, and this is ProfeAI. Education Evolved.